guys, welcome back to my channel. Funny story, I just recorded the same video for 20 minutes. For 20 minutes I recorded this video and I hadn't plugged in my mic. Actually, I'm gonna make sure it's on right now. Okay, I think we're good. So I'm hoping the audio is good because I fucked it up quite a lot in the past, and I know a few of you guys were commenting like the audio is really bad, like you sound really far away, like fix it. And I have a mic, but I was plugging it in to the wrong place. I was plugging it into like a speaker or something instead, so it completely kind of messed it up. Anyway, this video is going to be on how you can get taken seriously by an authority figure. So I'm going to run through a couple of points. The main point that I spoke about when I just recorded this is the following. So there was this dude called Albert. Albert, I don't know how you say his last name. I think it's Merabian? Albert Merabian, and he came up with the 7% rule. So there's this rule that says that how you are received in terms of communication is split into 3 different factors that make up different percentages as a whole. So you've got 3 factors. Number 1 is the words that you say. So the verbal words that you say, I just said that. Words that you say is basically the context. That makes up 7% of the 100% that we're going towards. 7% is the words that you say. Number 2 is 38%, and that is your tone of voice. So that is how you say the word. So that's how you say the context in terms of if your voice goes higher, it goes deeper, it goes softer, it goes harsher. That's your tone of voice. That makes up 38%. And then we have the remaining 55%, which is obviously the most important part, and that is your body language. So that is how you present yourself, how you hold yourself, if you're using your hands to explain yourself, how you have your shoulders, if you're crossing your arms, all of that, postural, stance, body language, that's 55%. So what he's saying is that body language is the most important contributing factor to how you communicate with somebody and whether it comes across effectively or not. So you could have really good tone of voice, say really good words, but if you don't have good body language, you're taking away over half of what actually really matters. So body language is very, very, very important. I will run through a few techniques and terms of that at the end when I run through it all at once. Basically, I'm gonna give a scenario. So when I used to work for an MLM company, I used to speak to around 150 people a day and pitch them. And you get rejected a lot. So I was being crushed, I was being stamped on. I felt like not very good a lot of the time during my day because I was like, people don't want to talk to me. This makes me feel kind of bad and awful on the inside, and I used to have to pick myself up, and you get used to it. You give yourself like a 5-minute timeout, and this applies even now if I have a bad sales call. When I first started my agency and I was cold calling, I'd do the same thing. If you have a bad experience and someone makes you feel a little bit shit, just give yourself 5 minutes to feel as bad as you want to feel. You can cry, you can scream, you can sit silently and like rock, you can do anything that you want to handle the pain or your emotions that you're feeling. And after that 5 minutes, you're not allowed to feel like that anymore, and you have to snap out of it, and you have to jump right back on that phone or go into that store and pitch the next person. And you just have to get into that mindset where you're not allowed to wallow and you can't hold on to stuff. You have to just get it out, release it in any way that you need to, maximum 5 minutes, and then go and move on to the next thing and leave that negative experience in the past. Don't hold on to it, don't dwell on it, because that will just ingrain it more deeply into your brain and make you feel a bad way and have a negative association with that act of what you're doing, whether it's a cold call or pitching somebody face to face. So I was pitching 150 people a day, working 6 days a week. That's nearly 1,000 people a week that I was speaking to face to face every day. And on average, 3 out of 100 people would buy when I first started. When I got better, it was maybe 1 in 5, 1 in 10. So it got pretty good. So I was closing like 10 people in every 100 people I spoke to. And obviously there's so many different factors that contribute to that. So it's whether they're qualified with age, because I was pitching on behalf of a charity for direct debit, they have to be of a certain age. Age, location, depending where you're at in terms of wealth, people that can afford it. Like people have different experiences. They might not have been raised with animals, and they might see them as working creatures, not for company, not as companionship. So there's all these different factors that come into what I was pitching. So inevitably there's going to be a big drop off, and then out of those people, how am I going to close them? That comes down to my skill set. And that's when they taught us about Mehrabian's model of communication. And this is so important. We used to practice this every day. And just to give you guys a sort of exercise or a workflow for implementing this, this is what I used to do. So if you don't have something to do it with, you could probably role play it with yourself in the mirror. If you have somebody to practice with, it's 10 times better. But basically what you want to do is you want to take one element out of the 3 things at a time. I just did 2, I meant 3. You want to take one element at a time, nail that, and then move on to the next one, practice it all together, and just practice. Just do it over and over again until it becomes second nature, and it will feel awkward. You'll probably not be very good at the start, or you might be just talented, naturally gifted individual. Most people that are good at sales, maybe they have a little bit of natural talent, but most people develop it through the situations that they're exposed to. So don't feel like you try for a day and you're just not good at sales and all these other people are naturals. That's probably not the case. They've probably worked hard to get where they are, and they've been in a lot of scenarios, spoken to a lot of people, pushed themselves out of their comfort zone, which has shaped the person that they have become, which enables them to sell effectively and well. So what my point is with this, you want to start with the context, so the verbal words that you are saying. Have a script. This is so good when you're a beginner. Obviously, when you're more experienced, you might have a rough script that you follow, but you kind of fill it in and go with the flow depending on the person that you're speaking with. When you're starting out, it's going to sound a little bit robotic, and that's okay. You will get better the more you practice it. But have a script and look at yourself in the mirror. If you need to, I used to read it out over and over again. I used to look at myself in the mirror. I used to read it out until I didn't need to look at the paper. You won't sound very good yet, but you'll have the words that you need to say correctly. That is the context. So nail your script, have your pitch done correctly. Once you've worked on that for a few days, I'm just gonna wait for that alarm to go. I actually completely lost where I was. Once you have nailed the oh my gosh. So once you've nailed that aspect of things, you want to move on to the tone of voice. So this makes up 38%, as I said before. Tone of voice is basically, think of it as the song of the sales world. You want to be bringing your voice and your energy levels up and down depending on the part of the sales pitch that you're in, depending on how you want that person to be affected by the words and how you want them to interpret your pitch. This is going to change. Mine was probably quite an extreme example because I'm pitching RSPCA, it's a charity. You have a lot of empathy and emotional selling that's involved because people aren't receiving a physical product for the money that they invest. They're receiving a feeling of feeling good for giving to charity. So how I would sell my process is probably slightly different to how this would relate to SMMA. But just to break it down in simple terms, I used to practice this with somebody else. We used to practice every morning and switch partners and carry on doing it. We would know when we have to elevate our energy. So at the start of the pitch, when you want to engage somebody, you want to have a higher energy level and speak with a slightly higher pitch. So I don't mean like scream at them aggressively in the highest pitch you can. I mean just bring up your energy, speak a little bit quicker, engage them into your conversation so that they are listening to you. Because when you're monotone, people aren't going to listen. It's so boring. You just shut off and it becomes white noise. You want to have elevated energy, and then when it comes to the emotional selling, you want to bring down your tone of voice and bring them lower with you, and you want to take the person in front of you on a journey through the tone of your voice throughout the pitch so that they get picked up, they get brought down, and it not only takes them on this experience with you, it also keeps them engaged because you're constantly switching the environment that they're in terms of the sound that they're receiving. So that's the tone of voice aspect. You want to have memorized the words. You don't have to think about what words you're going to say, and then you can practice the tone of voice throughout your pitch. See what works for you. Obviously that's what I did when it came to RSPCA. Now it depends on the person that I'm speaking with, but normally if I'm going through the emotional selling part of the script, my tone of voice isn't going to be super like high pitched. It's probably going to be a little bit lower, a bit slower. I'm going to be listening to them a lot and just grasping onto every word. That's your tone of voice. Now, if we move on to the last part, which is your body language, this was probably the part that was I good at it? I think I was better at the tone of voice and the context, but in terms of body language, there are a few obvious ones that you probably heard. Your shoulders. If your shoulders are like scooped down like this, you just look like you're a little bit terrified. You want to have your shoulders back. I feel like this has turned into a sales lesson. Have your shoulders back, keep your chin up, just feel like you are confident in yourself, because people can receive it, obviously, from this model of communication. 55%, before you've even said a word in a certain tone of voice, people have received 55% of that message already from how you are standing and how you're carrying yourself and how you're going to explain the situation. So shoulders back, it sounds ridiculous. Honestly, it does make a difference, and it's mostly subconscious. People don't realize that it's affecting them that much. It's just body language cues. So shoulders back, don't be like looking down. Keep eye contact with somebody. Don't be creepy. Don't stare at them. You still want to blink, but you want to keep that eye contact, remain confident, don't shy away, and shoulders back, stand straight, and don't fold your arms. Like if you stand there like this, looking down, that person's just going to be disengaged. They're not going to really care what you have to say, and they're not going to think that you believe in what you're talking about because you don't look like you do. So you want to keep your arms down and you want to express. You don't want to do like wild stuff. Just move naturally and express yourself as you go through the pitch. Now, some of you will probably ask, well, what if I'm on an audio call? What if I'm cold calling? What if I'm doing sales calls and I'm not in front of them face to face, or it's a video call? Video call, you can still use body language. They can still see you. It's just not the lower half of your body. So that's kind of fine. In terms of audio, obviously you should always maintain a good posture and have good body language. I don't know if people can tell or not, but normally when you express yourself, like how I express myself using my facial features, I feel like people can hear that in your voice in a way. So I still express myself, and a lot of people do it naturally. Like I have not seen somebody sell and they literally just sit there really like still. Normally you're still going to express yourself. But in that instance, obviously tone of voice and the context are going to take over, and they're going to become the two dominant components over your body language because this has been taken away. So it's, for example, if somebody can't hear, their sight becomes more well tuned because your body has to adapt to that situation. It's kind of similar in this situation, so you've got to probably focus more on your tone of voice and the context of the words that you're saying because that body language element is taken away, but you should still kind of focus on it. That is the main point that I wanted to make, that is the most important. A few little side notes. Always be polite and be respectful. Now, I know that some people can be mean, some people can be rude. You're probably never going to have to experience, unless you've done MLM, you're probably not going to have experienced that kind of variation in people, because a lot of people that you jump on a sales call with, if you are SMMA, coaches, consultants, you're probably speaking to business professionals, not a whole range of people, so you're probably gonna have fewer experience that can be that crazy. But if somebody's being rude, if they're being disrespectful, if they're being mean, you don't need to argue back at them, because no one's gonna come away winning anything. You're gonna come away with negative energy, not feeling very good, and they're gonna just carry on wallowing in their negative spiral, whatever they're deflecting on you. You wanna just exit politely. Just be like, hi, look, thank you for your time. I don't think we're a good fit. I'm gonna end the call here. And then hang up, and you don't have to justify it, and then you just shut it off and you move on. That's one of the main points, because I feel like a lot of people hold on to negative experiences, and the more you think about it, the more you imprint it into your identity. So this is why affirmations and self-help in terms of positive thinking is so powerful, and why people manifest, because they're writing down all these good things all the time. It's because your brain is focusing on good things and where you want to move to in progression and growth. If you think about all the bad things, that's the direction that you're going to go in. So if you let somebody random ruin your day, that's not going to give you any benefits. It's not going to help them in any way. Handle the situation, do what you need to do to leave, and just be polite and move on, and just wish them the best. Just, I hope you have a better mood tomorrow. I used to actually say that. I don't know if it was a bit sassy. Normally if people were rude to me, I'd say, look, I'm not sure what you're going through. I really do hope that the rest of your day gets better. best of luck with everything, and I'll walk out. And I'm not being rude, I'm not being mean, I'm just being honest, and you just leave the situation and it's fine. So I think that they were like the main points that I needed to cover. Oh, one really important thing is numbers. So the more of these people that you can speak to, I spoke to so many, like thousands of people every day. I just went in and pitched every single type of person. The more people that you speak to, not only does it increase your confidence and kind of separate that person from being a scary authority figure individual, it helps you level yourself up to them and helps you realize that they're just people and they're not scary. And some of them might be rude, they're probably having a bad day, you don't know what somebody's going through in that day, you don't know if they've received bad news, you don't know if they're just not a very nice person, or they've had a really bad day, or they're very busy and stressed. You don't know what other people are going through, so don't judge them for it. Just move on until you find the right person that's a good fit, and then put all your energy into that person. But the more people that you speak to, not only you're going to get more confident, you're going to get way more experience. You're going to realize that there's different personality types and different people that you're going to need to pitch differently. So the more people I spoke to, the more I understood and could tell within seeing somebody in the first few seconds, I'm like, I know how I'm going to pitch you. And as soon as they speak, their body, like I can tell from their body language, from the tone of voice, how they greet me, I know if they're going to buy or not. Like within the first few minutes, that I know if they're going to sign up or if they're not going to, and I can still have that intuition on the sales call where I'm like, I don't think this person's going to sign up. If I've got time and if I want to practice sales, I'll just do it anyway. But most of the time, if somebody's not a good fit, or I can tell they're wasting my time or they're not really in it, I will just test them on it early, and I'll just say, I don't think we're a good fit, I'm going to end the call, and do it that way. But honestly, just the more you practice, the better it gets. I know that's so cliche, but it's very true. Anyway, that is the end of my video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I got everything in that I said before, but please leave the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and leave a comment in the comments below of any suggestions that you have for other videos you want me to film. If you enjoyed this sort of salesy aspect of everything, also let me know that I'd be happy to cover more topics on sales, and I will see you in the next video.